What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. I hope everyone is healthy and well today on this beautiful day. Welcome, all my new supporters. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everyone enjoys this video today just as much as myself. This isn't too good, though, at least for the U.S. Now, today we'll be reacting to why NATO is choosing a Canadian system over the U.S. Now, I had no idea about this. You know, I was aware previously that they were making decisions and there were going to be some changes and some new things going on between, NATO and other people, other nations, should I say, or just, particularly, that was a tongue twister. That's crazy. Expanding, strengthening the NATO and everything, reaching certain expectations. But I didn't know that they'll be leaving the U.S. in the past, choosing Canada over us. But guess what? I seen it coming anyway, even if I didn't see it coming, because look at the times we're living in. Unreliable, backstabbers. I don't know. NATO has a lot of reasons as to why they would choose Canada rather than the U.S. And considering that Canada is actually part of Parliament, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more respect, a lot more dignity, a lot more to uphold. Probably more trustworthy and everything. 100% facts. Just so many reasons as to why nobody wants to join the
We're
US,
following big developments in the defense sector.
This was highly recommended. Original video link will be down below in the description.
We're following big developments in the defense sector this morning. Canada is being chosen to host a new multilateral defense bank, which aims to provide long-term financing for defense projects to potentially dozens of countries. So this all comes as NATO is reportedly set to announce that it's going to select an advanced Canadian surveillance system for its air fleet, shifting away from its previous system that comes from the U.S. Joining us for a look at these.
Is it cheaper? Is it something better? Or you just decided this is a safer option to do business with Canada, when it comes to stuff like this, rather than relying on the U.S. because you never know. People just want to make sure they're safe. I'm a guy like that. I want to make sure I'm safe. I said safe. I want to make sure I'm safe, man. I put two-step verifications and stuff on everything. I'm one of those guys. You got a password on a password on a password. Yeah.
Fleet shifting away from its previous system that comes from the U.S. Joining us for a look at these stories and more is retired Major General Scott Clancy. He's the former Director of Operations at NORAD. Always great to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let's start with the bank. We were in competition with other nations for this. What do we gain, first of all, from hosting it?
Well, there's Canadian jobs really at the core of this, but it's a lot more than this for Canadian industry and all of the participant nations, countries, industries as well. Like the Defense Resilience or Security and Resilience Bank is basically the ability of small companies to access funding in advance of government defense contracts. Yes, governments might be able to access some of that funding, but governments pay for defense contracting out of budgets, that they own as nations. Yeah. The best thing about this is that small startups that rely on contracts or procurement orders in order to fund their innovation and their research and development could now access that in advance. They could get those loans, that capital in advance to be able to start up their ideas, be able to incubate those things, either in Canada or the other countries that are participants around the world, especially in NATO. And that is going to accelerate basically defense innovation.
Bigger picture here, what does this signal about international security concerns that this type of funding is needed so quickly to build up defense systems in the first place?
You're right on point. I mean, it's a volatile world. We've moved into a more hard power, defense-oriented, watch your sovereignty with military force as opposed to the hard force. But it is also a signal that the economic elements that are involved in defense are extraordinarily important. The stronger you are interconnected with your allies, the less that you have to fear from them. By having a defense bank here in Canada that links us to innovation across the NATO allies and other partners makes us all more resilient.
Banks benefit whenever anybody borrows. So who benefits in this bank?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. The element here that I believe of a bank that's like this, where it's focused on the public good, is that any profits that are consumed by the bank end up being just available as more capital to more startups. So it's like having a nonprofit that actually sells something. The profits from those go right back into the bank and go right back into defense innovation, which is available to Canadian companies. And don't forget, defense innovation also spills over as a lot of defense products are dual use.
All right, speaking of defense products, second point, NATO was looking to replace this aging air warning system they had. It was made by Boeing. And while no official announcement has been made yet, there is European media reporting the alliance is going to choose a Canadian surveillance system. So
it just wasn't as reliable? Because they're talking about our system, to be exact. Okay. And I understand what he was saying before, basically. He wants, you want more like funding support, basically, Financial security, you need it now. Certain things need to get done. You need to make sure that you guys have the funds and stuff to be able to protect yourself and get these things fixed, because you're dealing with the unpredictable, basically. Before, like you said, nobody ever had to worry about the U.S. turning on them or their allies backstabbing them and this and that or trying to sneak them. Like, no. That's why Canada was never really invested in their military. That's why that GDP was down. They could get the GDP up. They are, but that's why it was down, because nobody was thinking about that. Germany had that same issue, but they exceeded and went and got well past it, because it was brought to their attention, basically, like, yeah, we better do something about this now, because something ain't right. I did a whole research on that, man, and Canada's doing the same now, trying to meet those GDP requirements and everything. And just building its economy, strengthening the military. Like I said, it's not always about the numbers, man. And I've heard so many stories and stuff. It's not always about the numbers. I've heard incredible war stories about Canadian soldiers. It was just 3 of them. It was just 3 of them. It was just 3 of them versus thousands. And it was crazy. I've heard a lot of stories and stuff. Numbers don't mean anything, man. Seriously.
What system would they be in? The alliance is going to choose a Canadian surveillance system. So what system would they be implementing?
So this is the Global Eye. It's a future system. So the system is not operating right now. The jet portion of it, which is built by Bombardier. And this is a consortium between Saab and Bombardier. So how much we have changed in the 5 years since I left NORAD in 2021, where the E7 wedge tail made by Australia was the thing that everybody said was going to replace the E3 Sentry program that is in the United States and in service within NATO. The Americans walked away from their wedge tail plans, which NATO had latched onto as well. This opened the opportunity for this company to come in and field this system. So it's developing technology. It's on the pointy edge of technology built here in Canada, but it also is signaling, because the Royal Canadian Air Force is looking to procure a number of systems to enhance our surveillance here at home, supporting NORAD, but also supporting our forces worldwide. This signals, if NATO buys this, that the Royal Canadian Air Force is in good stead, because it's more than just a Canadian procurement to rely on.
Right. I can see the smile creeping up on the corners of your mouth on that news. Listen, from sky to under the sea, South Korean submarine manufacturer Hanwha is looking to up its bid to build Canada's undersea fleet. Just before this deadline hit, they said, look, we're willing to commit to building armored vehicles here in Canada to try and sweeten their bid. What do we know about a potential announcement so far?
Well, we don't know much at all, and I think the Carney government's playing this close to the chest for good reason, because it's really a very close competition that's moved almost out of the military realm into the realm of economic offsets in the competition. So the 2 submarines, one German, the 212CD, which is a shorter range but more stealthy vessel, partnered between Germany and Norway in its development as technology, but is really NATO focused. And Norway has a very long-standing tradition of working with the Royal Canadian Navy, developing our submariners, and it's a very strong integrated NATO link vessel. The company there, TKMS, has done a lot, partnered with CAE, the indigenous corporations with memorandums of understanding here in Canada to sweeten their deal. But what Korea has done, and Hanwha is not just a submarine company. It's got aerospace. It's got energy production. It's sweetened the deal by saying that it'll produce, light armored vehicles and heavy artillery vehicles here in Canada to kind of sweeten this deal. And it's very tough because they've also partnered with Algoma Steel, Mohawk College in a more comprehensive bid. I think that the military things, because there's very different things between these two submarines when they can be delivered. The Korean submarine looks like it can be delivered quicker than the German. It's got more endurance, but it's Pacific focused. And as we see threats from China, having a submarine that's developed in the Pacific that's got more range, that's got more endurance and more strike power than the German submarine, that might be more beneficial. But I think it's going to come down to these economic offsets. I think the government's very smart at this point to say this might even hinge on the differences of the economic benefits between the two submarines.
Listen, when they're making a bid, they understand our pain points in this country right now. Former Director of Operations at NORAD, retired Major General Scott Clancy.
That's reasonable.
Great to have you with us on this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you very much for having me.
That was great.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content.
It's just all about, being reliable, having that support system, that security, the matter of timing, like how fast can we get this? How fast, do we need this? And can our ally get it to us faster? Or maybe this person can, but our ally can't, stuff like that. It has nothing to do with like, oh, we don't need them, or this is horrible, or, like bashing the US. It's just more so like, Canada needs things on their timing as well, every country. Who's to say that one country cannot be self-centered, or focused on their country? Man, we need something now. We need it now. Can you get it? No. On to the next. You know what I'm saying? The U.S. would do the same. Any country would. You got to be like that for your country, So there was just some things that maybe was holding them back. Some things that maybe didn't work that well, or they felt they could get better, or maybe cheaper, a better arrangement. Maybe they could get it sooner. A lot of things like that. This was a great informative video. This was highly, highly recommended. I didn't know what to expect when I seen this video, because I was new. I was new to this, I was just now being aware of this. And I'm like, being made aware of this, excuse me. And I'm like, what is going on? I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I didn't even know because, okay, we're talking about a specific piece that was on the plane. Something within the U.S. system, and I guess it just didn't work out that much. Now, I didn't really know too much about that. Look, let me see if I can
bombard you. So how much we have changed in the 5 years since I left North within NATO. The Americans walked away from their wedge-tail plans, which NATO had latched onto as well. This opened the opportunity for this company to come in and field this system. So it's developing technology. It's on the pointy edge of technology built here in Canada, but it also is signaling, because the Royal Canadian Air Force is looking to procure a number of systems to enhance our surveillance here at home.
Procure a number of systems, to advance it.
Supporting NORAD, but also supporting, our forces worldwide. This signals, if NATO buys this, that the Royal Canadian Air Force is in good stead, because it's more than just a Canadian procurement to rely on.
I can see that.
I just want to look for something.
Element here that I believe of a bank that's like this, where it's focused on the public good, is that any profits that are consumed by the bank end up being just available as more capital to that everybody said was going to replace the E3 Sentry program that is in the United States and in service within NATO. Australia was the thing that everybody said was going to replace the E3 Sentry program that is in the United States and in service within NATO. The Americans walked away from their wedge-tail plans, which NATO had latched onto as well. This opened the opportunity for this company to come in and field this system. So it's developing technology. It's on the pointy edge of technology.
Plus, the U.S. wasn't keeping up. Like, bro, the U.S. they were like, oh, we don't want to work on that. We don't want to deal with that. left it for somebody else to do. Now they are what's a good word? What's a good in high demand, should I say? They are in need. Yes. And they're interested in what they have going on. So there's going to be a few changes that they're going to make. Like I said, it's just about finding that right partner, that right person, getting the things you need quickly, in a certain time frame. Maybe cheaper too. More reliable systems. You never know. They want to expand it. And we don't know what the US has going on. I don't know. Well, you think the US would try to like secretly spy on Canada through their like surveillance systems? Or no? Is that like doing too much? I don't think they would really go that far, but like it's definitely about the security and just having that clear mind, knowing that what you have is working 100%. It's fully reliable. It's going to detect anything. It's great. It's coming from an amazing, reliable, trustworthy ally and everything. Not gonna have no scheming, no things under the sleeve. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like altogether, it makes sense. He listed a lot of reasons. Please share your honest thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, and help me out. Help me understand some more about this. Share some information and some facts down below in the comment section that was not included in this video, or maybe if it was, but you want to give a deeper breakdown, please help us out in the comments. I'm saying us, I really mean me as well, for real, because I'm going to be reading the comments, trying to get a better look up on this, do some research and understand what is going on a little bit more. I really do like his reasonings, though. I really like his reasonings. He did keep it respectful as well, but I basically understand what he was saying. Like, I mean, it's about finding that right person, guys. Reliability and trustworthiness, man. Two big things, when it comes to business. Two big things, especially and such things like quality and everything. Hey, please share your honest thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Flood my comment section with more videos for us to react to. Thank you so much for all the recommendations. Once again, everybody, was this your first time learning about this, hearing about this whole topic? If not, please educate us down below in the comment section. Do not be stingy with the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Please help me understand some more about this. You guys know I'm going to read up on this some more. I have a few more videos that I want to dig deep into. A few more research videos that I want to dig deep into with this channel for you guys. Give you guys the quality you deserve. So let me know some more video ideas in the comments as well. Follow my Twitch and subscribe to all my other YouTube channels down below. I love you all so much, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video. Wait a minute. If I actually do this, do you think it would just give us a brief explanation before we end the video? For my people who didn't truly understand what the video was about, I don't want to leave anybody like, blindsided, because I always felt like that in school, like class is over or we on to the next thing and I'm sitting there still lost, Strac, still stuck, don't understand, and I'm scared to ask for help because everybody either gonna make fun of me or piss me off, or the teacher, well, or okay, well, we just went over it, or now you want to email, call my mom, talk about your son can't keep up, bro. Y'all piss me off, bro. Real talk, man. Y'all piss me off, bro. I don't go to school no more. Y'all hurt my feelings for real. I ain't messing with school, bro. That's hurt my feelings as a kid, bro. But mom, I don't understand. They moving too fast. Well, you need to tell us slow down. I did. Like, oh my gosh. And then you be mad because your teacher scores look down because the kids is failing. They failing because of you. NATO is reportedly selecting a Canadian-led advanced surveillance system for its air fleet, moving away from previous U.S.-based systems like the Boeing E-7 Wedgetail. Am I saying that right? Wedgetail. This shift is primarily driven by a desire for strategic. This is my first time. Oh, autonomy. It's not my first time seeing that word. Strategic autonomy. Better industrial alignment. Better industrial alignment. Interesting. And shifting U.S. priorities. Shifting U.S. priorities. Getting away. It's not the U.S. priority. They don't want the U.S. to have anything to do with surveillance system. Nothing with what they got going on within. But with their aircraft or anything. I understand. But it's more to it than just not wanting the U.S. to do it. Because he actually explained some factual reasons. So I hope this helped out everyone. please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn all post notifications on, man. This is basically, you know, growing a reliance on NATO and that Canadian relationship. It's growing a reliance on each other rather than having such just a toxic relationship with the US. You know, a lot of resilience and stuff, guys. It's a lot going on. This was great. This is great. Do I need to read any of this? I don't want to leave nobody out. You know, they really just wanted... Okay, it says there's a growing desire among NATO allies in Canada to diversify defense partnerships and reduce dependence on U.S. military updates. An after-sales report. I gotta read it, guys. I can't leave nobody out. I'm sorry. I just didn't want the video to be too long. You know, Canadian-led system centered on Bombardier. Global Eye is seen by some as offering better capabilities or more competitive pricing for specific NATO missions compared to US. Like I said, pricing, you know, the quality of it, those are things that could persuade somebody like, oh, maybe we could shift away, you know? Maybe we possibly could shift away. Selecting a system using Canadian-built Bombardier. Bombardier. Okay, am I saying it right? Bombardier or is it Bombardier? Airframes provide significant domestic jobs. Yes, it does. Estimated at 3,500 in some sectors. And we know Canada's trying to boost the economy, you know, helping with housing, helping people get jobs. So this is another way to boost that up right there. And Carney doing a great job finding ways, man. The U.S. walked away from certain wedge-tail plans. That's right. The U.S. didn't want to deal with that NATO had been considering. Creating an opening for alternative systems that better fit the alliance's current requirement. Like I said, what Mark Carney does, what a lot of countries are doing, this is like an overall type of thing I'm explaining. People are shifting away from the U.S. and they're getting little things. They're making little agreements with other countries that they can get. Okay, we agree on this, but not this. On to the next. Do we agree with this? Yes. Now, what about this? No. On to the next. Do we agree with this? And that's basically what's happening, especially since the U.S. denied it. Where's the partnership in that? What? You don't run this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a better fit, you know? They found something better. They found something that actually works. Something way better, considering creating an opening for alternative systems that better fit the alliance's current requirements. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually glad I read up more on this because I actually understand a little bit more. You know, I was about 75%, 80%. Now I can say I'm about 90, 95%. Yes. 90, 95%, maybe even 100%. I can actually say 100% actually. I promise I can actually say 100%, but please flood my comment section. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video. I hope everyone tunes in, man. This was great. I'm so glad I actually read up on it, man. Stay safe, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.